Good morning. Good morning. Oh, it's actually afternoon, y'all. Good afternoon to you. To you. It has been a minute since we came to you live, but we want to come and kind of give you some heads up about tomorrow's show. And we wanted to give you also an opportunity to, have the first dibs on some things are that is taking place. And I'm super excited about where things are going in this season. Because can I be honest with you that, as I said this morning on Lady Jefferson's podcast this morning, if you didn't join us or wasn't able to watch it, please go back to her page and check her out. She's going to be my guest tomorrow night. Lady Stephanie Jefferson will be our guest tomorrow night. She is a true first lady. She's the first lady of the ministry of her husband's church. Because most of the times when we think about that phrase first lady, we think about the wife to the head of a church, and so she is that. But we're going to go in deeper depths with the phrase first lady and what that truly means. And so I hope you all will join us on tomorrow, because she is one phenomenal lady. And I am honored that she said yes to coming to Uncensored Conversation. Because a lot of times people don't understand what the basis of the program is for. It has multi reasons why we do it. And so a lot of times, we like to encourage people to understand what that's all about, because it is important in this season that you don't hesitate, you don't wait, you don't do things that just seem, when you do things that are truly unorthodox, a lot of people don't understand it, and we get that. But the whole process of Uncensored Conversation with Elevate Not Tolerate is to give you an opportunity to meet some people that you may not have known, but it also gives you the opportunity to hear their life story as they have traveled with us on their journey. They can give you some insights. They can give you some feedback or some things that you may be going through in your life as well. So Answers a Conversation has it's a multi podcast. We do a lot of different things. I try to have guests on my show that don't mind being transparent, because as you guys know, I can be transparent when I want to be. And so a lot of times, I encourage people to come on the show just to be who you are. I like to introduce people to the public that's on my side, because how many of you know that you know somebody, but I might not know them? And until you introduce them to me, I'm not going to know them, right? So that's another reason why I like to do Uncensored Conversation, because it gives me an opportunity to introduce people to the community, if it will, or if you will, introduce people who have new books, new music. We've had Jamila Rouse on our show several times. Actually, she's coming to do some co-hosting for me in 24. You don't want to miss that. But she's been on a show for us to push her music. We've also had my good friend who's coming back, and next week we're gonna have Donnie Got the Beats is gonna be on the show. He's out there in California, but he's doing major things in the musical industry. We've had Carrie Price, who is a manager and producer of ABN All About Music. You don't want to miss that. We've done different things, and then we brought people on the program who've written books, who tell stories about their journey and where they're going. And so Uncensored Conversation is a place where it's a safe place, platform, if you will. As I said in the interview this morning, it was about doing something different in the podcasting industry. When I came on for myself, as you know, I don't ever do anything like anybody else anyway, so that makes it easier for me, right? So I just kind of go with whatever God gives me. Now the other thing that I want to tell you about is, some of you asked a lot of questions during Lady Jefferson's show this morning. Again, if you didn't check it out, go back out and check it out now, because she's got it out there posted for you to be able to see it. But go out there and check it out. Some of you asked me about me becoming an author and what that was like for me, and we're going to be talking about some more of those things in a very near future on our show. But I want to tell, a couple of people have asked me some things today. I'm going to tell you, reach out to me individually. I will give you the names of those three publishing companies that I recommend. One of them we did talk about during the show was Lisa Dove Washington. We talked about her. She's a publisher, publishing house. We talked about Michelle B. Hammond. We talked about her. You know, and she's a publisher as well. We also can tell you about Katrina Reese Holmes. Um, and I might say that backwards. Katrina Holmes Reese. She is also a phenomenal publishing source as well. Hey, Miss K, girl, look, Miss K, how you doing, girl? And Miss K Clark is I mentioned you in the show this morning. I talked about Kay Clark. She is a certified master mindset coach as well. Y'all got to get on that bandwagon and follow her. As I shared one of her famous quotes to you this morning, practice not force. So you want to go out there and tag in with Kay Clark, Coach Kay Clark, the journey life. Come on, y'all got to get on the journey of your life and follow my girl Kay Clark. When I tell you though, Uncensored Conversation has many different facets, but I like to bring people on the show that have a purpose, that can talk about some real things, some real life things, right? And so tomorrow's show is going to be really unique because it's a topic. Lady Jefferson is going to be on the show, but the topic itself is centered around what is what is a first lady. What are those characteristics, and what does a first lady go through, and what does a first lady, have to, the standards and the stigmatisms that follow that title. And we're going to get into a lot of conversation about that tomorrow night, because I believe a lot of times we have put so many demands on that woman at the head of the church. You know what I'm saying? My mother was the first lady of our church until she passed. She was the first lady of St. Peter Evenlight Holiness Church. Shout out Martinsville, Virginia. But she was the first lady. She was the only lady. She will always be the first and only lady of St. Peter Evenlight Holiness Church. And, there were so many stigmatisms. There were so many things that were put on her. So tomorrow night, we're going to talk about that with Lady Jefferson, the stigmatisms that are placed on first ladies of the church. And then we're going to go into depths of talking about what a first lady truly is. And I think by the end of the show tomorrow night, you're going to hear some things that you probably have never heard in regard to that, because it's time for us to empower ourselves better with knowledge and wisdom, right? We just don't keep using the same words and stigmatisms and the cliches things that we say. It's time to broaden your horizons a little bit. It's time for us to see things on a different level. So tomorrow night, my guest again is going to be First Lady Stephanie Jefferson will be with us. We were on her show this morning at 9:00. Go back and check out her video, her page. Go back and check out our interview with her this morning. It was so much fun. I had a lot of fun just being on her show, but I also had a lot of fun of being who I am real, right? I want to tell you too that, we got some new things that's coming up on in our program with Victoria Elevates. There's a whole lot of new things that's getting ready to come up that I want you to be aware of. We're coming back with Elevation Morning Moments, Moments with Elevated, Not Tolerated. We're going to come back with that. God has finally released us to go back onto the air to do that. You're going to have to be looking for where we are and what times we are, because this is one thing that I can tell you about branding and rebranding, if you will. Sometimes it's not about you changing the name. It's about it's about enhancing what God has already given you and know how to include it in what you do, right? So, God is kind of is expanding some of the aspects of Victoria Elevates. Even some of our branding colors, you'll see it's going to be changed and some is going to be enhanced. But for the most part, God has given us an opportunity to go back into some areas that we really enjoy doing. And we're going to start impacting with that, right? And so, we want to talk about some of that. But the Moments with Victoria Elevates, it will be coming back. I won't tell you right now when that is going to be, because we're working behind the scenes and we're doing the re-intro of that on a different level and according to how God has downloaded us to do it, how God wants us to do it. And so we're going to go back to that. But I wanted to let you know that Moments with Elevated Not Tolerated is coming back. Moments with Victoria Elevates will be back. We already have one section. Hey, Deborah, thanks for being with us today, girl. When I tell you that God has already downloaded some things of how we're even going to be doing that. And we already have a first topic that we're going to be talking about. That's going to be intention versus being intentional versus being entitled. Because I think it's a very important that we understand that you can do something intentional with the right intentions, right? That's what we're talking about, right intentions, right? You can do things with the right intentions, but it is not always perceived that way. A lot of times people want to be entitled to do something or have authorization to do something, but that's not God's will. God's will is for us to be intentional of what he gives us to do and how we move forward to our next level. And I like to push people to understanding the difference, because sometimes we use words just because it seems, let's just use this word and let's use this phrase and do that, do this and do that, when it has no intentional purpose other than to, some of us say throw shade, or some of us just to do harm or whatever. But being intentional is supposed to be something that we do to be positive, right? We do it intentional. We eat our healthy meal because it's intentional for it to help our bodies, right? We read our scriptures because it's intentional for us to go have a better relationship with God, right? So intentional is something that you do on purpose, right? And that's the reason why I say I want to talk about it in a positive note, right? But intentionally, we are supposed to be doing things that's going to empower and embrace other people, right? That's some part of the motto for Victoria Elevates, But at the same token, there are some things that you are entitled to, or you feel entitled to, right? Now, this is the thing. When we start talking about that with moments of elevated, not tolerated, I want you to understand that because you have authorization doesn't always mean that you're entitled to it. Because you have access to the entrance doesn't mean that you're entitled to it. It's just that you've been given an opportunity to enhance on it, right? So we're going to be talking about that, intentional versus entitlement. And so we're going to be talking about, it's going to be one of the topics that we're going to talk about in the upcoming weeks. And then we also have some other things that God has been downloading for us to talk about. And we're going to bring those to the forefront. And so we're going to be putting out a post, a poll, if you will, on our social media, because we're going to be asking for your help. Mm-hmm. In order for us to move forward with some things, we want to talk about what you want to talk about. We want to hear what you want Uncensored Conversation to talk about, as well as what you want to hear being mentioned in our lives on those moments with Elevated Not Tolerated. We want you to have an opportunity to play a part into that, right? Both of the programs are set to help to empower you. So in order for us to empower you, we want to know what you want to talk about, what you want to hear, who you want to hear it from, because sometimes we can give off the same thing over and over, and it's not effective as it used to be. God has empowered us to have some regular people come back to our show for a reason, because of the empowerment that's inside of them, right? And what they're doing to empower others. And so we're going to be bringing some folks back, but at the same token, we want to know what you want. And so we're going to be putting out a poll on our social media for you to be able to tap into, for you to be able to actually share your viewpoints. We are now on Instagram. We went back to that. There's some things that God released us to do, and Instagram was one of them. TikTok may be coming. It is out there right now, but our main focus is to come back to some platforms that God has allowed us to come back to. So you're going to be seeing us on multiple platforms. We also have a platform that we are starting ourselves, and so you're going to learn more about that in 2024. But there's a platform that God has empowered us to be able to be a part of on ourselves, and so we're going to be doing that as well. But today I just want to come back and just briefly tell you guys to tune in tomorrow night for the show. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be full of information. We're going to talk about what it is to be a first lady. We're going to go in depth with that. And so we want you to be back with us tomorrow night at 7:00 right here on Facebook, YouTube, as well as LinkedIn. We got a whole lot of platforms that we're putting everybody on because we are believing in to empower other people. We got to spread the good news as well. Many of you have asked about the books. Yes, we talked about some of the books on the show this morning, but we also, we want to continue to tell you that you can go to our website, which is victoriamholland.com. You can go to our website and you can find and go under shop in the shop tab, and that will also empower you and invest in you, some ways of you getting in touch with us. But if you go to our website, victoriamholland.com, or if you just click on the link in shrink the link tree. I'm sorry, y'all. The link tree link, which is linktree/Victoria Elevates. You can pick up all of our other links to where you can reach out to us. But I can tell you that many of you have been asking, how are the sales going with 40 plus? And I'm going to try to do this as the easiest way I think is, okay, I don't know. There we go. 40 plus and fabulous. The art of embracing. Okay, I can't read upside down. Embracing the art of self-care. The book is still out there. It's still available. All of our material you can get directly from us on our website. Anything that we participated in, any book that we are part of, you can go to our website and you can get it. And there's some discounts out there. If you reach out to us, we can give you some discounted information on some of the material. But this book is the one that's out there right now. It is doing somebody has asked me what the sales looks like. The sales are doing great. You don't want to miss getting your copy though. It's something about you having this book in your hands for your own self, right? There's so many different little things. I share a lot of my own stuff in this book, okay? But we do have the newest book that's getting ready to be released by the end of the month. And many of you have been asking about it. You saw us publicize it. If you bought the 40 plus book in the early ons of when it was out there, your name is going to be mentioned in the new book. And the new book is called Stop Walking on Eggshells, Breaking the Silence on People Pleasing. So everybody's been noticing the shoe. They say, where you get that shoe from? Well, it's a part of my previous wardrobe where I could wear heels comfortably and not feel inadequate. So stop walking on eggshells, breaking the silence on people pleasing. It will be available out there for you in the next couple of weeks, but go ahead and jump on and get the pre-order of it. You can pre-order. We're going to be putting that information out there. Betty Brain. Okay. We've got, we're actually going to have the book out there for you to pre-order and be able to get your copy ahead of everybody else. This is the thing. And this is what I'm sharing with you on today. I haven't shared this with the public yet, but you're the first if you're watching today. Starting tomorrow night on Uncensored Conversation with Elevated Not Tolerated. If you pre-order the Stop Walking on Eggshells, you will get the journal free. If you pre-order Stop Walking on Eggshells, Breaking the Silence on People Pleasing, for a limited time, you will be getting a free copy of the journal that goes with it. So you'll be getting two books for the price of one. So you can pre-order that. We will be putting that information out there. It will go live tomorrow night as we are doing the show. But I wanted you to be the first to know, if you go out there and you pre-order, you fill out the pre-order form that's going to be on our website tomorrow. If you go out there and you fill out that pre-order form, you will be able to get the book and the journal itself together. I'm a big journaler. I talked about that today in the show. But if you go out there and you pre-order the book tomorrow, you will get a free copy of the journal to go with it. It's like you got to take one piece of it and go hand in hand. This book is going to be, it's very in depth with some particular topics that's covered in the book. And I'm going to actually share some of the topics. Give me just a second here. I should have had that out. Got any questions? Go ahead and put them out there. So one of the topics in the book is let's see, which one do I want to give you? People pleasing in relationships and finding true connections without losing yourself. That's one of my favorite chapters in the book. People pleasing in relationships, not just boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, and wife, but in relationships in general. That is a hard topic that, we don't always want to tackle as individuals. But in the book, I cover and keep in mind, these are my feelings. These are what things God has downloaded to me about these particular topics. But people pleasing in relationships, sometimes you get lost in who you are because you're trying to please somebody else. So in the book, we're going to talk about that in depth. We're going to be talking about embracing the vulnerability of it and setting some healthy boundaries. In 22 and 23, I've learned that, the best way to have best relationships with some people is to set some boundaries in place ahead of time, not wait for for the bottom to fall out, but to go ahead and set some healthy boundaries ahead of time. And so in the book, we talk about that. In the people pleasing book, we talk about some boundaries that we as individuals need to set in advance, right? If you're friends with me on Facebook or you've seen my Facebook post, you will also know that in the last couple of days or so, I've been putting out some comments. And some of those comments, and you will know it, are excerpts from the book itself. So you can kind of get a viewpoint of some of the things that you're going to get in the book. So we're going to put that out there. We also are planning, and this is going to be a pop-up. I'm not going to send out a big notification. It's just going to be a pop-up. We're going to do an evening where we do some reading from the book itself. Once the book has been stamped of approval and that it is in print, it is in printing form, we're going to do a reading. We're going to read from different chapters in the book so that you can get a heads up on what's going to be in the book itself. So you're not going to be buying it without knowing what you're getting. Because it's something about knowing some stuff. I know we do book launches and we do book signings and those type of things, but we're also going to be doing this book reading because I want to read some excerpts from the book in advance so that you have an opportunity to gravitate to what the book is about. Pleasing, when we start pleasing other people and we start taking on the roles of ourselves, we'll be able to feel more confident in who we are, right? I talk about this a lot here lately, that I'm a COVID long haul, so sometimes brain fog is still prevalent. It's still there. And so when you understand when you have a true relationship with somebody and you understand the boundaries that you set as a friend or an associate or whatever your title is with somebody else, it empowers you to be more aware of circumstances. Because sometimes we can say, oh, I got your back, girl. I got your man. You're my bro. I got you. But sometimes if you have not set appropriate boundaries, you won't understand that person's true intentions until you know that person, right? So in the book, we do a lot of, because I am a certified master life coach, so I do a little bit of teaching in the book as far as how we set boundaries in relationships so that it is not confused with anything else. Because a lot of times, even with business relationships, I do a lot of collaborations. Let me put that in the proper tense. I have done a lot of collaborations, but now God is kind of StreamYarding and that's funny, I'm on StreamYard, right? But God is StreamYarding how we actually do. Hey, Miss Stephanie, look, Lady Jefferson's with us. I can't wait for tomorrow night. But what I tell you is that in the book, we talk a little bit more in detail about setting boundaries in the beginning of relationship. Because one of the things as a life coach that because I am all about personal development, right? Because even with some things, we have to be more inclusive about, we have to see things on a different level, right? So when we're talking about personal development, I encourage my students, my clients to dive deeper into what is the root of why you feel the way you feel. And one thing that has come out of my research, and one thing that I do share in my classes now, is this: when you have a language that two people can understand, then you will know how to communicate better with them. One of the reasons why I enjoy talking to Lady Jefferson this morning on her show was the dialogue and the conversations that we had prior to today, right? So it made it easy to be able to have a conversation, right? So when you have a true download of conversation with someone, when you understand the process of setting boundaries, you're able to have have a better relationship. You stop the pleasing of that person to empowering that person, right? Because you got to transition from that wall of pleasing, because sometimes we get to that point we just want everybody to love us. Can I be honest with you? Not everybody's going to love you anyway. Doesn't matter if you give them $1 million out of your back pocket. Doesn't mean that they're going to end up loving you any more, any less. People tend to love you more if you're true to who you are and produce who you are, and not what you want them, what they want you to be. Right? Because a lot of times pleasing someone else is not doing anything but delaying who you really are. Right? One of the things that we emphasize periodically in the book is that when you take off that role, that you take off that mask of pleasing everybody else and you stick to pleasing what God has purposed in your life, right? So the book is going to be, the actual pre-ordering of the book will start tomorrow night while we're doing the show with Lady Jefferson. And this is the thing. Write this in your book right now. Tomorrow night is going to be such a powerful conversation, because we're going to first start talking about, with Lady Jefferson, those characteristics that she is an absolute amazing lady. Without being the first lady of the church, I sent this into her. Sent a post to her a little bit. I sent her a post a few minutes ago to tell her how, what she strikes me as a first lady. And I've never been to her church. I've met her one time in person, but what she delivers is true integrity and character as a first lady. And a first lady, let me just give you a hint. Well, no, Lady Jefferson, I ain't gonna give no hint. You got to come and watch the show tomorrow night, because Elevated Not Tolerate has a definition of what we see as a first lady, and First Lady Jefferson fits the category to the T. So we're bringing her on the show to talk about who she is, her program, and her journey. But we also want to be talking to her about characteristics of a first lady, because there's something about being a first lady that is important that as women we tap into. And tomorrow night we're going to do just that. Guys, I'm telling you, today is phenomenal. Here in North Carolina, we're experiencing storms off and on today and some heavy rains. But even in the midst of all of those storms and heavy rains, take this analogy of that. Through every storm and through every rain storm that you go through, every lightning that happens in your life, can I be honest with you? It's only to empower you and impact you better. If I could tell you some of the things that I have been through in the first lady, say this is how you know first lady's in the house. Look what she says. Pressure. See, this is first lady. I'm laughing now. But pressure, first lady, I'm gonna take that. Pressure can be applied in so many different ways that it brings out the good fruit. Oh, okay. First lady, see how you be messing with me? I remember my former pastor, Pastor Yolanda Smith, said this years ago, and she preached this message, and she preached about how how you put the fruit in, and I'm paraphrasing because it's been a couple of years, but she talked about the pressure of when you're squeezing the juices out of the fruit, and the pressure that is applied to that. You can't have a good fruit if nothing is ever pressured on you. I can't have the best cup of lemonade, Lady Jefferson, if I don't put the pressure on you. Lady Jefferson, there's some first ladies out there. If we don't put the pressure, if you don't apply the pressure to them, they're not going to understand that the pressures of the fact of being a first lady goes deeper. I can't wait for tomorrow night, y'all. I absolutely can't wait for this conversation that she and I are going to have on tomorrow night, because it's gonna blow your mind. Tell some of your brothers out there, tell some of these men folk that are looking for their wives to watch the show tomorrow night. Okay. First Lady Jefferson, I'm challenging the men that are going to view this tonight, are going to view this today. I'm going to challenge some women out there that have some husbands, boyfriends, brothers, uncles, cousins, of the male persuasion, to tune in tomorrow night, because we're going to be talking to a real first lady. Right. And the thing is, when you see a first lady, you're going to know what that characteristic does to you, how it draws you. right? And that's another reason why I want her on the show, because her demeanor itself speaks the volume. Yeah, see, I got a whole lot of reasons why we got this show tomorrow night, Lady Jefferson. It's just download as I'm talking, But tomorrow night, join us. If you have not tapped in, if you haven't subscribed, do so today. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Victoria Elevates. Guys, go out there and find me. If you can't find me there, come on Facebook. You can find me. If you can't find me there, look, I put the link in, information in there. Go out there and find us. But tomorrow night is going to be epic. My guest is the one and the only phenomenal Lady Stephanie Jefferson will be our guest on tomorrow night. You are not going to want to miss it. I mean, God has been, sending me the most phenomenal guest to be on the show, and she is one that I promise you guys, you're going to be in for a treat. Those of you that already know her or think you know her, go out there and send some other people to come and watch and listen to Lady Jefferson talk tomorrow night, because she gets to take a different role tomorrow. She's not going to be the hostess. She is who I'm going to be interviewing. She is going to be giving us some life-changing information. I just feel it in my look. If y'all know my pinky toe, when that pinky toe gets to quivering, I got a funny feeling it's going to be an amazing opportunity for you and I to hear from this phenomenal lady, and you don't want to miss it. I guarantee you. Look, guys, it's Saturday. It's 12:42. I made a promise to myself that I wasn't going to be on here long, but I am obedient to what God says. He says, go out there and remind the people about the show. Remind the people. Tell the people about the books. Remind the people. See, this is the thing. When you get in a place where your obedience, your purpose and your destiny begin to shake hands. First Lady Jefferson, I just heard that. When you get where you're supposed to be, your purpose and your destiny begin to shake hands. And they begin to grow from that standpoint. Because when you know that you are empowered, embraced, and educated to be elevated and not tolerated, you're ready to walk into your destiny. Join us tomorrow night at 7 o'clock right here. Follow the link. Follow my page. You'll be able to get on each one of our social media sites, and you can be able to share and join us. But when I tell you on tomorrow night, ooh, boy, oh boy, oh boy. I don't know. First Lady, I don't usually wear a hat, but I'm going to have to wear a First Lady hat just because you're coming. I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's going to be fun, and you don't want to miss it. And we'll see you next time right here on Uncensored Conversation tomorrow night with Elevated Not Tolerated at 7 o'clock. Look, stay tuned. There's more things on the horizon, and you don't want to miss any part of it, because Victoria elevates.